My name is Nathan Cole, and to be honest, I never thought I'd be telling this story. It started on what should have been a perfect week, a rare chance for me to have the house to myself. My wife, Hannah, had taken our 2 kids for a beach trip she'd been planning for months. She needed the break. God knows she deserved it. Between work, homework, dinner, bedtime, she'd run herself ragged. Me? I stayed behind. Deadlines at the office wouldn't wait. And honestly, the idea of some quiet, it felt like a reward in itself. The first night alone, I kicked back in my home office, laptop open, sipping cold coffee, and pretending I'd get ahead on work. Then, a knock at the door. It was Dave, my neighbor, a retired guy, the type who notices everything that moves on our street. "Hey, Nate," he said, rubbing his hands together. "Just got a new camera system installed. State-of-the-art stuff. With your family gone, might be worth considering." I laughed it off at first. Our neighborhood was safe. White fences, slow drives, porch lights. Crime? Barely a whisper. But Dave insisted, telling me about a friend 2 streets over. How someone had broken into their house while they were away. "It's better to have it and not need it," he said, his voice low. That night, when the house creaked and moaned the way old houses do, his words kept replaying in my mind. Maybe he was right. By midnight, I was deep into Amazon listings, motion sensors, live feeds, instant notifications. Before I could second-guess myself, I clicked Buy Now. 2 days later, I spent an entire Saturday afternoon setting up cameras, front door, back door, garage, living room. I installed them carefully, feeling a little ridiculous, but oddly reassured. The app pinged every time the wind jostled a branch, but it gave me a weird kind of comfort. It made the house feel mine, secure. One thing, though, I hadn't told Hannah about the cameras. It wasn't some big secret. I just figured I'd surprise her, show her the new security system when she got back. When Hannah and the kids returned, the house lit up again. Laughter, cartoons, the smell of lasagna baking in the oven. God, I missed them more than I even realized. I wrapped my arms around Hannah when she came through the door, breathing her in, feeling the rhythm of normal life click back into place. Days blurred back into routine. School drop-offs, grocery runs, movie nights. I barely thought about the cameras. Until one morning at work, a week after they came back, something random made me open the app on my phone. I clicked through the camera feed out of pure habit. At first, nothing. Hannah folding laundry. Our daughter, Molly, chasing the dog around the living room. And then, I clicked on an older clip, one I hadn't seen. There it was. Footage from 2 days ago. An unfamiliar man. Inside our house. At first, my brain scrambled for explanations. Maybe it was a plumber. Maybe a handyman Hannah forgot to mention. Maybe. But the guy wasn't dressed like a worker. No tools. No uniform. He moved through our house like he knew it. Confident. Comfortable. He even opened the fridge like it was his. I replayed the clip 3, 4, 5 times, searching for something that made it make sense. My stomach twisted into knots. I didn't confront Hannah that night. Maybe I was being paranoid. Maybe there was a simple answer. Still, I couldn't ignore the crawling unease under my skin. The next day, while Hannah was taking the kids to soccer practice, I installed 2 more cameras. One in the living room, hidden behind a bookshelf. One in our bedroom, tucked into a corner shelf where nobody would notice. I hated myself for it. Felt like a spy, a traitor. But something inside me, something cold and hard, whispered, "Find the truth." For days, nothing, just normal life. Movies, dinners, bedtime stories. I almost convinced myself I was crazy. Until Thursday morning, I was at work, opened the app, new footage. I clicked, heart thudding, and there he was, the same man, again, walking into my house with a key, laughing with Hannah, heading straight into our bedroom. My hands shook as I watched, helpless, as they closed the door behind them. The footage didn't show everything, but it didn't have to. I knew. God help me, I knew. I sat frozen at my desk, the world tilting sideways. How many times? How long? Was the beach trip even real? Was it all a cover? Questions screamed in my skull, but no answers came. Just a cold, crushing silence. I didn't rage. I didn't scream. I simply shut down. I finished my workday in a haze, went home, sat at the kitchen table, staring at my phone, watching, rewatching, memorizing every horrible detail. The kids ate dinner. Hannah kissed my cheek, and I sat there, letting it all happen, feeling like a ghost in my own life. That night, I barely slept. The next morning, after dropping the kids at school, I told Hannah to sit down. The sun shone bright through the kitchen windows, making the world look cruelly normal. She smiled at me, confused, until I put my phone on the table, opened the app, pressed play, and watched her face change. The silence that filled the kitchen after the video ended was brutal. Hannah's face, usually so open, so familiar, twisted into something else entirely. Fear, shame, panic. She tried to speak, but the words caught in her throat. Her eyes, wide and desperate, searched mine for mercy. There was none. "Nate, I can explain," she stammered, reaching for my hand. I pulled back. "Explain what, Hannah?" I said, my voice low, trembling with everything I was trying to hold inside. "The man, our house, our bed." She broke then. The tears came in heavy, choking sobs. "It was a mistake," she cried, burying her face in her hands. "It meant nothing. I swear, Nate. It was stupid. It was one time." "Don't lie to me," I said, cutting her off, my voice sharper than I intended. "I saw the footage, twice, different days." She froze, her whole body crumpling like a paper doll. "I'm sorry," she whispered, over and over, as if the words could somehow patch the holes in my chest. But sorry didn't touch the depth of what she'd shattered. We sat there for what felt like hours, her pleading, me silent. She tried everything, promises, explanations, memories, even guilt. "Think of the kids, Nate. Please, we can fix this. Please, don't throw it all away." But she didn't understand. She already had. The moment she let that man into our home, into our life, it wasn't just betrayal. It was demolition. And some things you can't rebuild, no matter how hard you want to. I told her I needed time. Truth was, I'd already made my decision the second I saw the footage. There would be no forgiveness, not this time. Not when the betrayal was filmed frame by frame, inside the walls I worked my whole life to build for us. The days that followed were a blur. I moved into the guest room. We told the kids nothing yet, kept up appearances because neither of us could stomach the idea of tearing their world apart just yet. I barely looked at Hannah. I barely looked at myself. At night, lying alone, I'd replay it all. The vacations, the late-night talks, the stupid inside jokes, every memory now poisoned by a truth I couldn't unsee. And then, I got angry, not just hurt. Angry. Who the hell was that man? Who thought he could waltz into my house, into my life, and tear it apart without consequence? One night, fueled by rage and caffeine, I did some digging, and it didn't take long. His name was Evan Brooks, a local family doctor. Charming, respected, married with 2 little girls. The irony made me sick. He had a perfect Instagram life, smiling family photos, holiday cards, clinic awards, all while sneaking into my home behind my back. At first, I told myself to leave it alone, to just file for divorce, move on, start fresh. But every time I looked at Hannah's face, or heard her laugh with the kids like nothing happened, something twisted inside me. He deserved consequences, real ones. Not because I needed revenge, because truth matters. Because if people like him get to live double lives unchecked, the damage keeps spreading. I still had the footage, multiple angles now, high-def proof. One evening, after a long walk alone, I sat at my laptop, heart pounding, and made my decision. I uploaded the clearest clips, no commentary, no edits, just the raw, brutal truth. And I sent it, anonymously, to his medical board, his clinic, and worst of all, to his wife. The aftermath hit like a tsunami. Within days, Evan Brooks was suspended pending investigation. Word spread like wildfire through the neighborhood. The picture-perfect doctor exposed for the liar he was. Patients canceled. Colleagues shunned him. Friends disappeared. And his wife? She left him, took the kids, filed for divorce. I watched it all unfold from a distance. No gloating, no celebration. Just stillness. A grim, cold kind of justice. Meanwhile, at home, Hannah finally realized I wasn't coming back. When I served her the divorce papers, she didn't fight. She just cried, signed her name. We agreed to share custody, keep things civil for the kids. I didn't scream, didn't throw accusations. I just let go, because clinging to the wreckage would only drag me under. The day I officially moved out, the house looked like a museum of a life that no longer existed. Photos still hung on the walls. Our wedding picture, smiling and young and stupidly hopeful, mocked me from the hallway. I didn't take much. Some clothes, a few books, the memories that would never really let me go. I stood in the doorway for a long time, hand on the knob. Hannah stood in the kitchen, pretending not to cry. "Goodbye, Hannah," I said, voice thick. She looked up, whispered something I couldn't quite hear, but it didn't matter. Some endings don't need words. Life after that was strange, quiet, lonely, yes, but also free. For the first time in years, I wasn't carrying the weight of pretending everything was fine. I got a small apartment near the river, started running again, found a therapist who didn't let me hide behind half-truths. It hurt. God, it hurt. But every day, the hurt felt a little cleaner, a little lighter. One afternoon, sitting on a park bench, watching the river roll by, I realized something. The betrayal didn't define me. It broke me, but it didn't finish me. I wasn't just a victim. I was a survivor. And in some twisted way, I was thankful. Because pain has a way of stripping you down to who you really are. And what I found underneath all the wreckage was someone stronger, someone who still believed in loyalty, in love, in truth, someone who wasn't afraid to start over. So yeah, hi, I'm Nathan Cole. I lost everything I thought mattered. And somehow, I found myself. And that's a trade I'll take every time.